Hi, my name is Melissa.
And I'm Matt.
And our YouTube channel is called Adventures with the Lomans, although this is the very first time that we've sat down and tried to make an actual video of a review of a place we've been.
Yeah, so we've been a lot of places. Fortunately, we've been very blessed to get to travel. We got married in 2000 and started traveling pretty much every summer since. When we travel, we like to actually look at YouTube videos, just like you're doing right now, trying to find out about the resort or the place that we're going. Oftentimes, people are well-meaning, but they also video their packing, their travel through the airport, their travel on the plane, and all of those different things. And we don't particularly want to watch all of that, but we really do want to have the information about the resort. So that's what we're hoping to do for you guys today with the Barcelo Maya Colonial.
And just background on us, we are educators at heart. We both are background in education, but we are not professional videographers or video makers. But we do hope that this can be useful content for you. And if you like it, gives it a thumbs up, whatever, and subscribe, because we will be making many more of these of the places we get to go. So when we book our trips, we tend to book through a company called Cheap Caribbean. We have used others, but Cheap Caribbean seems to have been the cheapest for us lately. But then when it comes to transfers, we have found that we have better luck booking outside of Cheap Caribbean. We like a company called USA Transfers, and they've been super great and super reliable.
Yeah, we are, again, fortunate to have found them. We've been burnt a couple of times by some of the transfer companies that we have, and this is actually one of the areas that can cause some of the most stress in your travel time. But they've been very good, very reliable. To let you know a little bit about the transfer, with USA Transfer, you find them, they have their little signs out there, and then they have your name on a list. Whenever the driver comes, they go ahead and get you put on. They were pretty efficient. All the vans have been air conditioned and comfortable, have fit our party, and they fit our luggage just fine, especially with 7 of us. And it's also, just so you know, it was an hour trip from the airport to Barcelo Maya and an hour back. And that was without any traffic problems. But it was a very efficient 1 hour.
Also, we just went 12 days ago, got back. So as of May of 2024, that price was around $160 round trip for the 7 of us, which was a pretty good deal. And then we do tip 20% on top of that. But they all speak English. That's another bonus.
Yeah. And they were safe, felt very safe, never felt like they were putting our lives in jeopardy.
Yeah, it was good. So on the Facebook groups, check-in is always a hot topic. People are dissatisfied with how long it takes. We have not experienced that ever at the Palace or at the Colonial. We did, however, get randomly upgraded to a premium room this time. So we did get to go to the premium lounge for our check-in experience. I think it took about 30 minutes from beginning to end. And you want to tell me about booking our restaurants even?
Yeah, so with the premium, you got a little bit of almost like concierge service. So they were able to book our restaurants that we would want while we were staying there, which nights we wanted to stay and the time that you wanted to have. Again, this was the first time that we've ever had such success with that. Most of the times when we've been to the resorts, it has been late hours or you just couldn't get into that restaurant. So it was very nice for them to be able to book that. And we could have actually booked more, but we only booked 3 out of 5 nights.
And I will say that you basically need to change your mindset. Don't ever expect to get into your room until 3:30, 4 o'clock. That's about the earliest they ever let you in. So if you do want to swim or something first, just put swim clothes in your backpack that you have on the airplane. And be prepared for that. Think of it as a day to get to explore the resort. It does stink having to carry your backpacks around, and technically you could leave them with your luggage. They are secure where they are, but I will tell you that the check-in was nice being premium. So if you want to book premium, it is an extra expense, of course. We only got to experience the nice rooms of premium and the check-in experience and lounge of premium. The other benefits of premium would be you get 1 hour a day in the wet areas of the spa for free. You get, I think it's 50% off spa experiences the first few days, and then after that it goes down to a lower percentage, and you get 10% off in the gift shops. So we didn't book premium, but there are some advantages. And
the premium room was very nice. Just for comparison, the premium room that we had was basically like our Barcelo Palace room. And it was a little bit bigger, more closet space, a little bit bigger bathroom. But the best part was the location. We were just right at the pool. Which made it super nice.
Location is the best part, in my opinion, of the premium rooms. You can look out your patio and you can see the pools, walk right there. That's great. We had 2 showers, whereas the non-premium rooms just had the one.
The shower tub.
Yeah, it was a shower tub combo and then the regular shower, but that's nice. So there are definitely pluses. So if you're considering booking the Colonial or Tropical or Beach or Caribe over the Palace, maybe book premium, because if it's a lot cheaper, you could still have that same kind of room.
So the lay of the land. Melissa's going to impose a map so you'll be able to see it here. So if you look at the resorts, we have 6 of them on the same property. And with the Palace starting all the way over to the left, you almost think of it like a horseshoe shape. The Palace is by itself over to the left. Then the next resort to its right is the Tropical. And then after that is the Colonial, and that's the one we stayed in. So the Colonial and the Tropical share facilities somewhat, and they kind of share the same buffet in that situation. Each have their own lobby bar, each have their own lobbies, and they're very unique in that way, and the rooms are a little different. So then you go on to the next resort to the right, and that keeps on flowing on the horseshoe. Then you have it's the Caribe, and then the beach right after it to the right. So the Caribe and the beach share facilities, but uniquely about them, those each have their own buffets. So Caribe had its own buffet restaurant, and the beach had its own buffet restaurant. And then if you continue on, then you go to the adults only, and that's kind of adults only. So it's 18 and older, and they can go to all of the different resorts. And of course, then if you go to the Palace and you stay at the Palace, you can go to all 5 of the resorts except for the adults only. But if we're in the middle, like we were with the Colonial, and we were very much right in the middle. We really liked that. We had access to the main 4 resorts in the middle.
Yes, and we liked being in the middle by the water sports that are at the resort. People who would prefer to be down by the mall area, they might want to stay at the Caribe or the beach. Those are more located near the mall, I would say. And then the Caribe is closer to the Dolphin area as well. Think of it as the Palace, adult only, and then sets of twins in the middle, because Tropical and Colonial are kind of twins, and Caribe and Beach are kind of twins as well. And
they share not just buffet for Colonial and Tropical, but they also share the same theater. Caribe and Beach share the same theater on their side, and then they also share kind of the same pools.
But you can go to any of those 4.
Right.
So, man, we loved staying at the Colonial. We would do that again. Honestly, though, whatever the price is, we would probably choose that one in the middle because we liked them all. They each have a little bit of a different feel, and the pool vibe's a little different. The buffet vibe's a little different. Some perks at each of them, I would say. We found that the Beach and the Caribe buffets have hand scoop ice cream. Bonus. That is a perk. So we enjoyed going down there. I say eat at all of them and see what you like. Going to be similar but different.
Yeah, and one of the perks that we found too is the Colonial and Tropical buffet. Very good. But when it came to seating, we had a party of 7. And oftentimes the max table they had was 6. So they would want to set us at 2 different tables. Or what we had to do oftentimes was just bring another chair for the table of 6. We sat 7. But we found that if you go to the Caribe and the Beach buffets, they actually had larger seating areas, and it made it very nice. And again, we didn't have to wait for seating.
I think they could easily accommodate 8 at those 2. So that was interesting. We had to be a little bit pushy sometimes to get them to move that extra chair into our table of 6 to make it a table of 7. For some reason, they don't like to do that. All of the buffets have self-serve drink stations, or they will bring you drinks. So that's nice. And then there's also little beach or pool buffets by each of the things. Nice to get a snack, nice to go get an ice cream cone.
Or you can eat lunch if you don't want to dry off.
I mean, same food basically, just smaller quantities of it. Convenient, really close to the pools. So if you stay at the Colonial like we did and you want to eat at the Palace buffet, you actually can go to the front desk and you can tell them that you want to go, and they charge you 100 pesos, which at the time that we were there, it was like 16 to 1. So it's about $6. The Palace Buffet, I will say after staying there, is the best buffet. But there was so much great food. We never paid to do it. We enjoyed it while we stayed there, but we didn't feel that it was necessary. We did enjoy the sit-down restaurants.
Yeah, and the three that we actually ate at were the Santa Fe Steakhouse, and that was our first night. We really liked that. That was very good. We're not steak connoisseurs by any means, but it was very good. Again, with the appetizer, salad, entree, and dessert. And then, of course, you can order any of the drinks that you want while you're
nice
there as
appetizer
well.
bar.
Nice appetizer bar. Everybody really liked that one, and the service was very good. Again, wasn't crowded, and we had a great time.
It was all of our favorites from this trip.
Yeah, I think so. What came in second was the Italian restaurant, which was the Capri. The Capri was very good. Again, they had a little bit of an appetizer bar that you could go up and get some things. It was really good. Again, just really good food, good appetizer. A lot of seafood-based dishes along with the Italian.
Good dessert.
Good dessert, very good dessert. And again, this was a close second to the steakhouse. And then our third that we ate at, and also just a little detail, the Mexican Lindo. Men actually have to wear long pants at this one. The other two, we did not. You could wear shorts. But it was good as well. It was a nice experience. They do bring out a little bit of the chips, guac, and salsa. But it was probably the least favorite of the opportunity of dishes.
We're from Oklahoma. We like Tex-Mex.
We like Tex-Mex. And this was a little bit more varied dishes that we weren't used to, but everybody still ate and was
I had
full.
fajitas. They were very good. So if you don't know what to order, get the fajitas and you can't go wrong.
Yeah, but all good, all very good service, all very nice waiters. I will say one real quick thing, and this is something the drinks varied very differently at these. So you could order a drink at one of those and it's, wow, that's a really good drink. The bartender made a great drink. At the other restaurant, the person may not have had much experience making those drinks. So just be patient, understand they may not know exactly how to make those, but it was still all very good. We're not super hard to please, but we really enjoyed that. But those were the three restaurants that we actually got to participate.
We have also eaten at the French La Brasserie, or I don't remember how to pronounce it. But
over by the Palace.
It's over by the Palace. We did eat there when we were at the Palace. It would have been an upcharge for us at this point at the Colonial. We are glad that we ate at that when we stayed at the Palace. It was very good and very nice. So if you get that opportunity, I would say it's worth going to there. We wanted to try the hibachi. That one was actually overbooked. We would have had to have eaten at like 9 o'clock and we didn't want to do that. One other thing is, just maybe a tip is, when you book your restaurants, maybe ask if they know the theme of the buffets for each night if you're like us and you want to eat at the buffet some nights, because we ate at the buffet only 2 nights for dinner, and one night the theme was good and the other night was just so-so for us. I think it was like a Greek or a Mediterranean night, and it's not our favorite type of food. But you might ask the theme and then book your restaurants accordingly. Yeah, but definitely participate if you can in the fine dining. It's a lot of fun. It's a nice experience, a great time as a family to sit down and eat together. And it is super nice that guys do not have to, well, everybody can wear shorts at the Santa Fe and the Capri, although I would say 80% of the people probably were dressed pretty nice, but not dressy. Interesting though, if you do think about the fine dining experience and you have the same one or similar one in America, we calculated at the Italian restaurant that the dinner for 7 of us would have been around $500, and that's after tip. And that's with, some of us had 2 desserts. Some people had multiple drinks. Some people had, so yeah. And speaking of drinks, like, we actually are not a family who really enjoys alcohol. So we have learned a lot of different virgin drinks that we like. Mine and the kids, we like the mojitos a lot, and you can ask for them with no alcohol or sin alcohol. I like a mango mojito a lot. That's really good. You have some different favorites? Yeah, the Coco Loco is a really good one. It's a very coconut sweet drink. I like a lot of the sweet drinks, real manly drinks, you know. The Pink Panther, which is the Pantera Rosa, if you want to order in Spanish. And it's a really good one. It's kind of a coconut strawberry drink. That was good. And we would just encourage you to research
research a little bit on that. Some drinks that you would like that would be good. Dirty Monkey, but I don't believe that you can get that in a virgin. Oh. It has to be...
well, it didn't have much alcohol in it.
They don't have a lot of alcohol in them. But those are good, but I would definitely do a little research on some drinks that sound good to you so you know what to ask for and order. But again, certain bartenders know how to make them, certain didn't, but they all taste good.
And we always try to tip the ones who do and do that well, and then you get better service. But I will say the wristband of our 17-year-old was the same color as ours, and we're not sure if that was a mistake or not. He learned, and he wasn't trying to get alcohol, but he would take a tip of like $1 for a drink, and he said it was almost as if he gave them that $1. It was kind of like wink, wink, nod, nod. I'm saying no alcohol, but you're giving me this $1, so I'm gonna put that in there for you. And he would be like, this drink has alcohol, and we would taste it, and we were like, yeah, let's go again, try again. So he would go back and get a margarita. He loved the margaritas with no alcohol. So just be aware of that. I don't think they're putting much in their drinks, period, because I hear a lot of people ordering them with double alcohol, but that is something that we noticed is they aren't very careful.
Yeah.
So we've spoken a little bit about the rooms. There's not a huge difference in the premium and the regular, except for premium is a little bit bigger, better location, but your room is cleaned by one person and the fridge is stocked by another person. So if you're leaving tips or notes, it's going to be two separate people. The fridge is stocked with soft drinks. They have Pepsi products. Pepsi Black is Pepsi Zero in the United States, so it's with no sugar. You can leave them a note saying what you want. Another tip is just before you come back to your room at the end of the day, just ask for a bottle of water at the bar, and then you constantly are taking water back with you.
Yeah. The beds in the room, comfortable. Mm-hmm. One tip is the rooms are not queen-size beds, as we're used to. They're more like a double. So if you're sleeping two to a bed, it's a little tighter. Yeah. But we had 2 doubles, and we had 4 people. The 2 of those people were our kids, so they didn't want to sleep together. So one slept in the other double bed, and one slept on the sleeper sofa.
And she said it was super comfortable, and it was. Yeah. It was a really comfortable, and she's 20, so it was, you know, full-size person. It wasn't just like a little kid.
And we did have to ask for sheets for that, for them to bring that down to us, so we did have to wait a little bit for that, so that is something you might have to call and ask them for if you want to use the sleeper sofa.
Super strange thing we've learned in Mexico is they don't oftentimes have washcloths or like face cloths to wipe your, wash your face. We bring scrunchies, bath scrunchies from home that are kind of like just the cheap $2 for $1 ones at Walmart that you throw away when you leave. And then I bring like Norwex cloths for my face. But some people have said that they have they've asked them to bring them some and they've received them. We've never had that luck. And so it's just weird. I don't know.
Yeah. The rooms themselves, very cool. It was very hot during our stay weather-wise, but the room stayed very cold. We didn't have any trouble with that. But because of that, there is a lot of humidity still in the room, so things don't dry very well. But they do have a little drying rack out on the patio, and in the heat of the day, things dry out pretty well.
Yeah.
They do have a sprinkler system as well, so be careful with that because it won't dry too well with
that.
that.
And it depends on the direction your room is facing, of course, for that. But I know that for us, I like to bring a swimsuit per day because they don't ever really dry fully.
Yeah. Real quick as well, things that we like to know, it does have an ironing board. It did have a built-in kind of hair dryer. The towels are nice and big.
Yeah, they are.
Shampoo, conditioner, and soap in the shower for you on one of the
just regular.
But extra big pump. So you don't have to bring that if you don't want to. And then bars of soap for the hand soap.
Yep. Also, there is a safe in the room. That's good to know. There's a robes, slippers, stuff like that. Pretty big closet. It's like if you do like to hang your things up or whatever. And
some drawer space. It does have a TV, nice TV. When it gets late at night, it's not a real great, and we'll talk about it maybe a little later, but not a huge nightlife resort. So if you're wanting to watch a little bit of TV and just relax, I could find some English channels. Most of them are Spanish channels, but there were a few that were playing English speaking movies. Not too bad on that.
So we have learned, bring your own sunscreen and bring more than you think you're going to need. I believe that we used 3 cans, so that was a lot.
Big difference between late May and
December.
late December in the sun intensity. You could just feel it beating on you.
The pools were swimmable in December. They were swimmable. It wasn't as enjoyable.
Kind of cool.
In May, it just was warm. Like, it kind of sometimes was like, this is like bath water that's kind of cooling off, but it was still refreshing compared to, like, it was an 11 UV. So
yeah, very, very warm.
Yeah.
The pools are about 4 feet deep all the way around, so no problem unless you're under 4 feet. Then there's a problem. But
well, there's lots of kiddie pools, lots of kiddie areas, lots and lots.
I'm 6'2", so for me, a 4-foot pool means that I have to kind of keep bending and hunching down if I want to be in the water. What we tend to do is always buy some pool floaties that are pretty cheap in America, pack them in our suitcase, get them blown up there. I blew up a few, and the gift shops will blow them up as well.
All of they call them pool shops, I think.
Pool shops, beach shops,
yeah,
real close to the pool. And they blew them up for you. They have a compressor. It takes a little bit of time, but they will do that for you. If you buy your pool floaty there, it is pretty expensive.
Very.
So for $5, you can get one here. And then at the end of our trip, we just gave it to some people who had a little
made
kid,
friends, found people who wanted some.
So we don't take them back with us, but we just drop those off, let those be a little gift for everybody else.
And I will say the towel card system is wacky. We found out, so at the Colonial and Tropical, there's by the pool place, there's just a place you go and get your towels for the pool. And they say, do you have a towel card? Well, some days they said that.
Yeah.
Other days they didn't say a word. They just handed you however many towels you said.
Other days they wanted your room number.
Days they wanted your room number, and then they were going to mark them off of your room number, and you sign a thing saying that you're going to pay $25 for lost towels. There's no system, so don't stress over that.
Don't worry about it.
We also had no issues at all this trip with people reserving chairs early of a morning.
Yeah.
Like, any time of day we could find a chair at the pool and at the beach. Now, I will say, when you walk down to the Palace, they were all reserving chairs down there. And when we stayed at the Palace, we ended up not using the Palace pool very much because of that reason. And we walked down and used the pools at the other resorts because, for whatever reason, the Palace people like to get up early and save chairs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the pools at this resort, at every one of them, the Palace, the Tropical, and Colonial, the Caribe, and the beach, and of course we really can't speak too much about the adult, but the pools are expansive.
They're
huge,
so massive,
and they're just beautiful. They have bridges over them, and they usually have 2 sets of pools, so if you can get out and get into the other one just a few steps away. But absolutely huge, wonderful pools. You never feel like you're bumping into anybody. People are throwing balls around, but you never really feel like there's a big problem there. As far as activity around the pool, in December, when we stayed at the Palace, we did find that there was a little bit more of activity directors going through and having some fun dancing and games that they were playing in the pool. You may like that, you may not. At the Colonial pool, we did not find that. It was pretty much just entertain yourself.
Except for the one day, the conference. We had a conference that was there while we were there, and they were pretty lively.
But that was conference coordinated.
But that was coordinated just by them. That wasn't the resort. I have heard, and I did see the Caribe pool seems to be a little bit more lively. So if you do like that, it sounds like they have more music. Some people bring portable speakers and play them.
Not our thing.
I don't love that. At Christmas, we heard Kenny G play over and over, so they played relaxing music all the time. So there's not a ton of pool activities, but it's just fun to just relax. There's all of them have swim up bars, and then every little section has a kiddie play area, and they're really awesome for free. There is one that's kind of back towards the mall that has the flow rider that you can ride, and you pay, I think, $20, and there's some bigger water slides. But those kiddie ones I actually went down couple of slides and they were pretty fun, and they were great for kids. The one by the Colonial was so cool. A few years ago, our kids would have been all about that.
There are areas in the big pools as well that have kind of jets, bubble jets. They're not hot tub jets, but they are jets for your feet and some for your back. And they're kind of bench situation that you can sit. Cool. Probably almost 15 to 20 people in that circle of area. So that's kind of a fun little area to entertain yourself.
And there's hammocks along with the pool chairs. Our kids loved enjoying the hammocks, and It's
and there
just
are
nice.
waitresses coming around getting drink orders for people who are in the chairs and in the hammocks as well, as opposed to just the swim up bar. And the swim up bar on the opposite side is a walk up bar.
Yeah.
So you can walk up to it and get it and stay dry.
Yeah.
You don't have to get wet to get a drink.
And then again, the restaurant that's just right there by the pool, I think it's called the Mariachi Grill at the Colonial. You can walk in there and get your own Pepsis or, you know, whatever you want there, ice cream cones and stuff. But there's also good bathrooms in there, lots of stalls. There's pool baths over by the Towel Center, and which is also by where the Children's Club is. We've never utilized that, and it seems like very few did.
Yeah.
But anyway, we love the pool area. We spend most of our time there.
Absolutely beautiful. And at night as well.
We actually did night swimming this time, which was a first for us. And so they technically closed the Towel Center at 8 p.m. They didn't seem to care at all that we were in the pools past 8. It was just beautiful at night and still so warm.
There might be us and a few other people, and that's with a resort that has 8,000 people at it completely. There were just probably a handful of people in that, and it was a really neat.
So at night, you know, we like the night swim. There are shows every evening at 9:30, which is kind of late. Again, there are 2 separate theaters, so there's 2 shows to choose from. And they just kind of bounce back and forth. We only went to 1 show in our 2 visits there, and it was called Il Divo. It was kind of a
kind of like 3 tenors.
I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, they were very good.
Very good. But let me tell you, in May, that theater was stinking hot. No airflow. We were sweating. And so if you go dress with cool clothes and hope for a breeze maybe to go through there, I think the shows are okay. I just can't sit in sweat like that.
Yeah, we've taken quite a few cruises, and we would put it probably 2 or 3 notches below a cruise entertainment. But the show that we did watch was really good, but as she said, it was probably more the humidity and the heat was just too hard to sit there all that time for us anyway.
Yeah, and like I said, it was good entertainment. But the other things that you can do at night, there's not a lot of nightlife. There is a very small casino, I think, in the mall. We aren't casino people.
There's a sports bar that stays open, and they have games playing. A lot of the lobby bars
that's
had
fun.
games on.
We went to that one bar where we were trying to find the basketball game that night, and then there's at the mall. A lot of people do go to the mall. There's the regular mall with shopping, and that's where the bowling alley is. That's where the putt-putt is. You can't really see the putt-putt. It's kind of behind the bowling alley. It is free during the day, but it's also hot during the day, and it costs after 7, I believe, at night. It is probably the hardest putt-putt course we've ever played.
But it was fun.
But the iguanas were on it. That made it an extra challenge. You had live iguanas.
Iguana and iguana poop.
On it. Yeah, that was interesting obstacles. Never had that before on a golf course. But the other thing that some people do at night is go to the discotheque. Can't speak to that either. Yeah. It's not our thing.
One of the things we kind of like doing was just getting on the bus at night. And it drives to all the different stops.
It's a double-decker.
It's a double-decker. We'd get on top. It's kind of cool when the breeze is flowing. And it just goes to all the lobbies. It's a nice way to just sit down, relax, and just have a little bit of
the resort
time. We're not real nightlife people. But that was fun. We enjoyed that.
We did enjoy that. We've done that when we first arrived at the resort before too, to get the lay of the land. But the bus system is nice. They used to say they ran every 15 to 20 minutes. This time, I don't know if that was true.
They might have kind of got out of order a little bit. They have 2 or 3 buses running at the same time.
Yeah.
And they might start interlooping and kind of crisscrossing.
They go to every single lobby, and then a couple of places at the Palace, and then they go to the mall, and they go to the Dolphin area, but not during the night, just during the day.
But you don't get an opportunity too much in America to ride a double-decker bus.
Yeah, it's cool.
So that's kind of fun.
It's kind of a neat idea to get to do. So the mall also has a Mexican market that's just kind of, I would say, adjacent to it.
Yeah. One of the bus stops.
And actually from the Colonial, if you go through the Colonial lobby and back out front, you can kind of start in towards that area. There's a Catholic church back there as well, which at Christmas was cool. It had the nativity set up in it. But you can bargain with them there. You can't at the proper mall, but you can at the market. And, really there's no reason to need to leave the resort. If you want to do like zip lining, if you want to do go-karts, bowling, the mini golf, you can pay an additional fee for those things. Something that we actually did that ended up being one of my favorite things was the dolphin experience at the resort. It's $89, and that is, you can bargain with the price a little bit. It was $89, supposed to be a hug and a kiss with a dolphin. But then for $109, you're supposed to get that plus to ride on the belly of a dolphin, like belly to belly, holding on to the fins. And then for $129, you get 2 dolphins, kind of Superman through the air. We ended up doing the $109 package, but we only paid $89. And it was a great experience.
It was a lot of fun. They were very professional. They just make sure, the one thing that I will say, that one tip I have for that is I wore SPF 50 the whole time I was there, except for when you're swimming with the dolphins, you cannot wear any sunscreen or things like that because it's bad for the dolphins. That's the time I got burnt, and it was only about 30 or 40 minutes. So be prepared for that and be ready, because you have to take your hat off, have to wear a life vest, and be exposed out there for a while. But great experience swimming with the dolphins. The dolphins were seemingly very happy. They seemed to enjoy being there, and they were really tame and well-trained, very professional staff.
Yeah, it was great. And I will say that the pictures were just stupid expensive. They were great pictures, but they were very expensive. They will allow you to take pictures. You cannot take your cameras into the area, but my mom stood on the outside with my sister, and they got pictures and videos of us, which I will include in here for you to see a few of those. But it was just a pleasant surprise, I think, for all of us.
Very enjoyable.
So, yeah. So we love to see the beach. Anywhere you go from the Barcelo Maya complex, I feel like, around the pools, you're going to get a beautiful view of that ocean water, all different colors of blue. It's just so pretty. That's one of my favorite things of the resort. I'm not a huge beach swimmer. I do love to snorkel, but I love seeing that water. And they have lots of free beach activities right out there in front of the Colonial. There is an area that at 9 a.m. you need to be in line, probably before 9 a.m. And you can reserve a catamaran. There can be 3 of you plus a driver, unless you're experienced with catamaran, and then you can take 4 out if you're the driver.
They also had the little big fat wheel trike that
Pedal
you can get
trikes.
at, floating trikes. I didn't see anybody ever on
It was
those.
never calm enough.
It's a little too rough, and those will wear you out.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
We have done the kayaks, or the kayaks.
That's also the place where you can actually get the life vest. You can check those out for an hour and then go snorkeling. So we did that. We went down and we snorkeled at kind of close to the beach in front of the palace, and we were able to find some really great views there.
So they say to go to the jaguar statue and walk straight out. That's what we did. And you basically just look where the people are. Look where the people are snorkeling and go in there. You may want to tell them about water shoes.
Yeah, so when I visited in December, I got kind of caught by a wave, took a step forward, and broke my toe on some coral. That made it very unpleasant, if you can imagine, for this big complex for the rest of the time, and it took a long time to heal up. So this time I made sure I had some really good water shoes that would protect my toes, because there is a lot of coral out there, and it doesn't take much for an undertow or a wave to kind of get you off balance a little bit. But they also just make you have a little bit more confidence as you're stepping around out there in the sand. During our snorkeling adventure, Melissa spotted a sea turtle, and I heard off in the distance, sea turtle, sea turtle. And as I look down to look over at her, I see a sea turtle swimming right underneath me. And for me, I got to actually see 4 different sea turtles. I saw a stingray that was about 2.5 to 3 feet wide. And then we saw 2 or 3 smaller stingrays up at the front of the beach, just in the walking area.
Careful.
Yeah.
Because they were like literally on the sand as we were coming out. And I was like, I think that's a stingray. And then I was like, oh, I think it's just a rock. And he was like, no, that's a stingray, and that's a stingray, and that's a stingray. And they were probably a foot to 18 inches on those. And then we saw a much smaller one another day someplace else. But
yeah, good again, a good reason to have good shoes when you're out there in the sand,
for sure,
walking around.
They will rent, or not rent, they will let you borrow snorkel equipment also with the life vest for an hour. We bring our own, because if you've never tried one of those full masks that have just the snorkel, they're amazing. It's a game changer for snorkeling.
And even if you're a strong swimmer, I would suggest always using a life vest, because it just allows you to float and watch while you're doing it. If you like to dive while you're snorkeling, then of course you don't really want that. But again, again, you get the life vest for about an hour. You sign your room number and your name, and then you just bring those back.
I saw puffer fish, lots of colorful fish. My dad saw, he thinks a barracuda. He said it was very large, so not sure what kind of fish that was.
Yeah.
But it is just great. And then our catamaran driver told us that you can also snorkel off the pier. He said there's actually steps. The pier is down towards the dolphin area. By the way, the dolphin area is where you're going to find the big Riviera Maya sign that people like to take pictures with. So that's cool. But lots of non-motorized water sports that are super fun and free if the weather is correct. They said that there's never a green flag day, and when we were there was red flag day actually for a few days, and it was too windy to take the things out, and then one day it wasn't windy enough to take the catamaran out, so we finally got a good day. We've done it a couple times. It was great both times. This time it was super fun, wave hopping in it.
Yeah, it's a good time probably to talk about. We did have a little bit of seaweed, so as snorkeling, you ran into a little bit of seaweed. They did do a really good job of trying to keep it as cleaned up as possible, but this is just seaweed.
It's the sargassum.
So it's really beyond their control. It's not the resort's fault that this stuff comes.
They work super hard.
And really the stuff that really smells is the stuff that they leave out on the beach a long time, and these guys had it pretty much. Once it got there, they would clean it up pretty well.
From what we understand, our winter months are lower for seaweed. So when we were there in December, we didn't see any. This time, I wouldn't call it bad, but it also, it was somewhat of an issue, especially one day. I feel like they were trying to get jet skis out through it, and they were kind of wading through it a bit. The jet skis are pretty expensive, I would say. They're $75 for a half hour.
Half an hour, around $75
per person. So, and then the banana boats, was that like 15 a person, or I don't remember.
15
I don't remember
or 20,
what that was.
I think. I don't know.
But they were doing that the last day. That looked super fun. But if you want to just walk the beach, it's 1.25 miles from the Palace to the adult only, and you can walk all of that. It's just a beautiful walk. Highly recommend it. If you don't want to walk on the beach, you can walk the boardwalk all the way down. So that's another good option. So I highly recommend doing this at least once. Check the time on your phone for sunrise, and then go out to the pier. You do need to go all the way out onto the pier to see the sunrise, and it's worth it. Like, it's so beautiful to see it come up over the ocean. My dad and I did it one morning, and it was just really pretty. And then the day that we left, we had to be up early anyway, and so I didn't go all the way out to the pier, and it wasn't as good from the resort, but it was pretty. Sunset is a little bit difficult. I will put some pictures in here of both of those, but sunset was a little bit harder to capture because it kind of goes down behind the adult only, and you don't really get to see it, but you still can catch some pretty colors out at the pier at night, just because of the way that the golden hour sort of pictures. So definitely something that I say is a must do.
Plenty of palm trees around to get great framed pictures for yourself and your loved ones. And the lighting, if you catch it just right, is just perfect.
There are professional photographers around, and they'll do the setting for free, and then you just buy the pictures. We did never do that. We just take our own, but that is an option if you're interested in that.
We brought our son. He's our professional.
There you go. One thing we have learned just in general with travel is bring your own medicine cabinet. You can buy things there. Again, super expensive. There's a pharmacy right on in the mall area, but expensive prices. So we like to bring Tums. We did have, my daughter and I both had to use those. I think for us, it was probably eating too much mango because we really like it. So we had to use the Pepto tablets. We take, ibuprofen, whatever we think we possibly could need.
Sunburn.
Yes, stuff to put on sunburn, lavender oil, whatever you use.
Yeah. The other tip is, for me, especially if my feet hurt, then I'm not really happy. So trying to, again, talked about the water shoes, but make sure you have good shoes. If you know you're going to be walking a lot at night, bring some tennis shoes. Everybody's pretty casual there anyway. If you want to dress up, bring some comfortable dress shoes. This is a large complex. So even though we were very close to the pool, that put us further away from the buffet and some of the restaurants. You want to see a lot of the other restaurants, or you're booked in one of the other restaurants, and it may be those 3 restaurants that we talked about, the fine dining, were at different resorts along that horseshoe that we've talked about. So it's a lot of walking, which is good. I need to burn off some extra calories.
For sure.
You'll get your 10,000 steps in, but just know that those steps are going to, you don't want to be dealing with a blister or a sore or anything else. So bring some comfortable shoes and make sure you're prepared for that for this big trip.
Yeah. And I think in addition to that, another tip is I always like to bring one of the little, if you don't have a waterproof phone, one of those little waterproof pouches. And that way when you are out at the beach and you want to take some pictures, man, but if you have an underwater camera, you could get some really good shots.
This one could be varied. A lot of people we've seen in different blogs and posts on Facebook ask about how much do you bring for tip? Yeah. Well, it's included. You don't have to tip. So it's completely generosity based. So with that, it's really hard to tell you exactly how much to bring. We brought about $200 for our family. For
the 4 of us.
We traveled with 7 people total. So the other 3 brought money as well. And we tried to be generous. When we're talking about people who are making anywhere from $8 to $12 a day, so if you drop a 5 on the table, or a 10, or even a 20, it's really great. And one of the things we also try to do is not just tip our servers, bartenders and servers and things like that, but we try to tip the people who are taking care of our room, who are filling our refrigerator, and oftentimes the people who are actually taking care of the grounds, because they're not
the seaweed cleaners.
Yeah, the seaweed cleaners, the people who probably aren't speaking English, so that's why they're relegated to just the little interaction jobs. So they don't get that opportunity to get tips. So it's a lot of fun too, because they really, really appreciate it, and you can tell it's making a difference.
I feel like between the 7 of us, we may have taken 500 or 600, but we took it all in 1s, 5s, and 10s. Just bring that. People ask all the time, do they want pesos? Do they want dollars? Dollar is great. Dollar's not doing nearly as well there as it used. All right. So in summary, we loved our experience at the Barcelo Maya Colonial, and we would go back if given the opportunity.
Absolutely. It's actually the first resort out of the many that we've been blessed to be able to go to that we went back to a second time. We did go to the Palace, and we decided to go back to Barcelo Maya again, this time to the Colonial, because we had such a good time. The other resorts we have no complaints about. We like them all, but as we were researching, we couldn't find any resort that would top what we found at Barcelo Maya. So again, we would definitely go back again. We liked it. It was really a great experience, and we're happy that you got to see and hopefully share some of our experiences, and I hope it's helped you in planning your trip and deciding where you want to go.
Yes, so thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, ask us questions. We'll be glad to answer them. We hope we can help you.
And share.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.